we must restructure the way this government is being run. I'm an independent thinker. Kenyans are looking at me as a person who speaks their mind. That will not work because cartels have already positioned themselves. Moralizing from Ghana, I cannot allow myself to be moralized. When you look at everybody, you see that these are just betrayers. Edu Afia is just to delay Kenyans from getting what they deserve to get. Kenya will only thrive when we shall put aside politicals and interests and say this is now our country. How did we get to lose the 23 billion that went without knowing where did it go? Fighting the big cartels in this ministry was number one thing.
Hello there, warm welcome back here at Kenyans.co.ke. Today we're taking a look at somebody who in 2017, he took a shot from banking to politics. It wasn't successful. He garnered 254 votes. But undeterred, he went back again in 2022. This time around, he became one of the youngest members of parliament in Kenya. I'm talking about Peter Salasya. We have him here in studio and we'll get to hear more about this. Kwanza mimi nimeshangaa. You were a banker. Tell us about that.
Yeah, you know, most of the people think that I didn't go to school.
Yeah.
But they don't know that I've also schooled. Yeah, so it's only that sometimes we try to feature white kidogo so that people should not get to know me so much deeper. But with time, Kenyans are getting to understand who I am. First of all, I'm an independent thinker. What has really made me to be who I am today is because of staying to my lane, staying on my principles, is what really made me to be where I am to win the election and all that. Because you see, most of the time, maybe most of the youth who want to vie for the elections, sometimes they want to vie the election, they start a journey. And then on the way, because along the way there is a lot of frustrations in and out, you know, there's heckling, there's goonism, it's dirty. So sometimes you can give up on the way. But I was focused on what I wanted, because remember, after being a banker, I was a banker then in Kakamega branch.
Yeah.
So after that election in 2017, I was posted back to, just like, it was about like a month or so. Then I was posted to Embu because of politics. Now, from there now, when I went to Embu was very far. I couldn't be able to commute to and go and do my politics and all that. We were just like remaining with about some months to the election. So now it meant that I have to start now struggling between that was between around April to 20. We did the election in August, right?
Yeah, in August.
In August. So 4 months I was not on the job. I had left the work because I left it around April 2017
to focus on politics.
To focus on the politics. Then again, after that, things went opposite, and people are like praising me, only to go and get 254 votes.
Yeah.
It was so embarrassing. Like, even the weakest opponent that I could have consoled myself and said that I defeated me, so I was number last.
Yeah.
So that was the hardest moment. Like, when you look at everybody, you see that these are just betrayers. You know, they didn't vote for me. They were playing around with my mind. You go in a certain polling station, it was 0. So you're just walking around those people and knowing that these people, never even a single person. You know, if you got like 5 votes, or you can say that I was among the 5, but you got there, it's total blackout. So it was like that one really taught me about the heart of not keeping things in your heart. You must be a person to forgive and move on, or to forget what happened, forget the past and move on. Yes.
I think Mondago said unazieka kwa lungs, ukipumua inaenda.
Because now if you remember that all these people you will never go back there.
Yeah.
Because again they will do me the same way.
So it's been 2.5 years in parliament now.
Yes.
How's the experience? Was there something you thought about parliament before you entered and you're like, God, this is so different?
First of all, the parliament that we see, we see outside there is totally different with what is inside. Number one, when you are outside there, you will be always talking to yourself, when I go back to that parliament, when I go in that parliament, I'll do wonders. But you remember that there are also cartels, there's system. And the system, you find like the system really works against most of the first time as MPs. And you find like it's very rare, maybe one or two or not more than 10 who are vibrant. First of all, despite the fact that you are entitled to the same privileges and all that, but that's why you find like most of these first-timers MPs, they don't talk in the parliament. Because when there's a very hotcake motions, they want to give to the veterans. They call themselves veterans and all that. And even remember when I stepped in the parliament that I said that you will not monolize me in this house. I was monolizing from Ghana and I cannot allow myself to be monolized because even the ranking members you're talking about, we defeated them. So we must be able to be treated equally. And that's why you find like some of the members, they ask, why is it that our members doesn't speak in the parliament and all that? So the parliament that we see outside and inside is so different. And unless sometimes when I used to come in the parliament, I respected most of them. But now I noted that if I become so much humble, yes, I must respect them because of my elders, but it should always call for my space. I should also have my own space. And that's why you saw even when I was in Naivasha for the first time, I spoke boldly, without fear. And that one showed me that this time round, as we go to the second round, because we are just in the midterm, now the second round now, I have more confidence, whereby now I'll be able to talk about the issues. You see, like we have been having a lot of controversial motions in the parliament. We used to have the new model funding, used to have the finance bill, used to have the one that is disturbing people called the SHA thing. But you see, you have issues to address, but there was no platform whereby you can say that I have to address this issue. And now you see, now Kenyans are looking at me as a person who speaks their mind, who speaks about what they think about us. So this time round, as you go back in the parliament, I'm going to be so much vibrant, whereby I will demand for my space. Because you find like there are some members, even they don't use their cards. They just demand I have to speak, and they speak. They don't even know their PIN numbers of the cards, but they use they use how they have been staying in the parliament for some time and demand for. So now for me now also as a person, because I'm the only now leader, because now the ODM is now speaking the language of Kenya Kwanza, the broad-based thing. Now when they speak, the state house has spoken. Like there are issues that I want to bring, I'm sure they're bringing in the house, about the merging of different government institutions, doing away with some. And I'm going to oppose all those things, because the way Kenya Kwanza, how they have done in the past, we cannot give them any allowance or any loophole to merge any government institution, because definitely they will come with very sweet terms. When we bring this, it was going to bring this. You remember when they came up with the new model funding?
The new university funding.
University funding. It collapsed because they came. This is going to bring the independence in the universities. But you see now with the new model funding, it never used to have a serious public participation, whereby a student has his chance, the university, they have their chance, and also the government also have their space. But they left the students to be vulnerable, or the parents to be vulnerable, because in this matter, they gave a lot of powers to the university vice chancellors, whereby they can increase the university fees without even consult. And then they brought these things called the bundles. You don't know the band. Like for example, what criteria are they going to use to determine today I'm rich, tomorrow I'm a pauper? Maybe they looked at on the basis of maybe the caste that I have, or maybe the land that somebody has. Then tomorrow that person gets an accident. He gets everything goes. So you find like it is not realistic.
Is there a motion to try and audit the university funding model?
That is what now you see. Now the problem is that we have a system that degrades. We don't want to go to the gritty details. Like, this is the issue, we have to address it. Like, you remember when I addressed the issue of the SHA, and when I addressed the facts, all members were supporting me, even the majority leader. So the only thing that we have is that they don't want to get the facts right. And we believe one of the things that I'm going to do as a member of parliament this time round, I'm going to table 2 motions in the House. One motion is to recall, to do away with the health.
SHA.
The SHA.
That's Social Health Authority. Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to write, we must recall, because already the system is not going to work, because the cartels have already positioned themselves there. So, and anything that has been taken over by the cartels, there is no any way that even if you do the changes down there, it is not going to work. Look at the system, just the app only, that is to run and register people. It was purchased at 105 billion Kenya shillings. You can imagine how much, if that much could have been pumped into the NHIF. You can imagine how much that money pumped into the NHIF, and then we seal the loopholes. We see this is the loopholes whereby people, they play around, and we fix the issues. The way e-citizens have been able to be improved every now and then, until today it's working.
But
others.
Why were these issues not raised during the first? Because Social Health Authority was created following several bills that were presented in Parliament. That was before. It was actually this Parliament under President William Ruto. So why is it that these issues didn't come out then?
The problem with the Kenya Kwanza government, once the instructions come from the State House, it is final, and very little changes will be done on that thing. In fact, once you see them sitting like this, you just see them in numbers, then they just start singing songs. Then Osoro is now singing the song and walking from one corner to another. There is no any reasoning about, like, this issue, we must look at it. Let us look at this in terms of long term, in terms of short term. There was no transition process. What was the transition commission? Because this was a very serious thing, because health system is not something that just wake up and tamper with it. Because if it fails, then you're sacrificing the lives of Kenyans. So the thing is that the Kenya Kwanza wasn't ready for any changes. It was only that SHA will be the only solution. And it was being voted by motions and all that.
So you've said you're going to present a motion in Parliament to recall SHA.
Yes, to recall SHA, because SHA will not work, because cartels have already positioned themselves there. And who are going to be the implementers of this? They still rely on NHIF staffs, whose jobs are being at risk to be lost, because they also have to apply, and you know the Kenya that you have today. Whom do you know? And all that. So they will frustrate. NHIF has its owners, the directors and all that. So the system, despite the fact that it has been captured up there, it is also going to be captured, or it has been captured down here, on who is going to implement the issue. And then who are the funders? Look at most of the organizations. I have friends who are in different big organizations, whereby the government has given them proposal to sponsor. They have refused to give money to the SHA because they see that there's no transparency in it. You look at the people like the owners of Nairobi West, that the people who are the Adanis were in this SHA thing. So anything that is being done by the interest of making money, then it is clear to say that it's going to fail terribly. So the only solution for us to have a very serious, I asked them, we removed the UPI, like the NHIF, the universal, because you remember I told them, when Uhuru came with this universal healthcare project, UHC, he gave a pilot study from that Kisumu County, Machakos, I think, and Makueni and Nyeri County. So we were to give out the report. How best can we be able to implement this thing of the universal? And this thing, because health is a devolved function. So they could have devolved these things as per county, because every county has its own interest, because every governor, there's a governor who has the interest to do with the agriculture. There's one who wants to do with the issues to do with health, to make sure that all the hospitals within, they have drugs and everything and all that. So they ask those governors, who are these governors who want to implement this process, and then they can start with the 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, and then they work with it. And then now they go as per the counties and all that. Then they can work with the referral hospitals. Look, you go to the KU referral, Kenyatta
University Teaching and Referral Hospital.
Yes, you find like those cancer patients, they are being told, go and buy the drugs. You will come and treat. You find a child has no anambele wala nyuma. He wants to go for the chemotherapy. The drugs costing like 70,000. But they can't. They have to go and buy out there. They come to be treated and all that. And then you ask yourself a question. Even the NHF, people understand, even those who are not employed, you have to pay. They used to pay like 500. Let somebody pay for that money. They were not complaining about it. How do you is it a pyramid scheme? You want these people to be treated, and then you are just only relying on those who are on the pay slip. Don't you even feel like, for example, this person that you are punishing, that because he's on the pay slip, he also has people that he employs down there. Like for me being on a pay slip, apart from maybe those who are on the CDF, I also have employees at my home. By the virtue of me being an MP, because of a good pay slip, maybe, for example, I also employ like 10, 20 people there who are depending on me. So the moment you cut off this thing, then also you are also rendering those people jobless. So that is how the scheme works. So on the issue of SHA, if we want to be fair with the Kenyans, we must recall it, install the NHIF thing, and then we can improve, because you cannot postpone a problem.
Yeah.
A problem must be faced. Look at this. Right now, as we speak, you have seen the technical university are on strike, right?
Students are on strike, yeah.
Because they are saying that the lecturers have refused to give them exam because they have not been paid.
They have not been paid.
The university have not been paid. When the president said that, allow the students to go and do the exam. Now again, look what they are bringing in the house. I'm sure there's executive order to merge university funding, help to remove whatever.
It's help to join university funding. The new university fund, help is going to be under it.
You can imagine.
Yeah.
So you look at how they're complicating things. And that's why we say, last time they came with something called austerity measure. Right? The austerity measure, and they slashed the budget of all ministries with 30%.
30%.
Kenyans were like all over clapping like this. Yes, now the president is doing. But you see, when you slash like this, that money should reflect somewhere else. You slash it like that, then reduce the taxes. You slash it, you increase the taxes. At the same time, things are not moving. There's no money in circulation. Because number one, remember, Uhuru, when he came with the kazi kwa vijana, the money should be in the people. Is that okay?
Yeah.
We learned even in business about how can the government wants if to retrieve back money from the people to maybe to strengthen whatever. There are those things we learned, and to mop up money and bringing there's some economics there. So what they did is they slashed off. So which means that now, number one consequence that Kenya didn't see it, if we are slashing the operation by 30%,
yeah,
it means that these people, they are only left with the salaries. which means they are going to just be sitting in the offices relaxed, waiting to be paid at the end of the month. Because, or else, they have to increase their fees of their services that they are providing to the Kenyan people. That is a fact. Now, I had recent this gentleman called Owalo is now, I don't know, performance and whatever.
Yeah, he is the head of performance in the office of the president.
Yes, you are saying that you are going now to allow some ministries or departments or parastatal to die a natural death.
That was on Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you... We must understand why the people who came up with these parastatals were not idiots. That's number one. They had their own research and saw the importance of this.
And some of them duplicating roles and some of them doing the very same thing. We're not saying that all of them should be closed, but there are some that legitimately should not exist. There are some functions that can be done by others if it allows us to cut some cost at some point.
Let me tell you, we can only allow to cut. You know, let me tell you a problem. Let me tell you, and this is a fact. Let us not tamper with the system, because if all the systems that they have come up with, they have failed. They came with the Hustler Fund, it failed terribly. Right? They came with the issue with the shutting. It's failing, or it has failed. They came with the new model funding. It has failed. It's okay?
Yeah.
Affordable housing, it's also having issues with how it's being implemented or whatever. It's a good idea. But now, the way it's being implemented or being done, like just a good story is, if they wanted to make this affordable housing to be something tangible, right? They could have seen what are the components of making a house: cement and chuma, right? And now go and say that now let us make cement be cheaper. Let us go and make the prices of steel be cheaper. And then let us make these houses to be cheaper. And then instead of us coming in as a government to contribute, why can't we have the private investor, but in collaboration with the private investors? Like, for example, we provide the way they do in Morocco, whereby there is a public-private partnership. You come, we give you 500 units, we build, then after that, there's those taxes on corporate taxes, VAT, zinarudi chini, and then we also having the cement comes down, then we make those houses to be very cheaper, right? And even Kenyans will like them. People will start even paying for those things even before they are completed, like the way Chinese are doing in Nairobi right now, because people need shelter and all that. And then they introduce new homes. And then they say that here we have, they do public participation, we provide a land. And then they say we are going to build as a government, we are only going to build a house. They need the school, the hospital, they bring there the roads. And then they allow the investor do the necessary. And that is it. And then we will find, like, for example, we are going forward as a nation. They have good plans. But how to implement these good plans is where there is a problem. Now, coming to your point that there is duplication. Remember, these institutions, they also are all they do. They don't just sit there and just work. They do the research work and they do whatever duplication. Let me ask you, forest and wildlife. There was a reason why there was forestry, there was wildlife. And forest work is very big. We cannot merge it with the wildlife or be under that thing. Because we need forestry in this. What do we need to do to improve that forest authority? What do we need to do and improve the wildlife? It's not about the merging. It's not a problem. You want to merge nursing council, and you want it to be independent. It means that it's going to increase the fees and all that. And they regulate the nurses about the health system, make sure that the hospitals, before they get the certificates, they need to be funded. Look at the things like the youth fund. You want to merge youth fund, human enterprise fund, you want to merge the Uwezo fund. Uwezo fund has the good structures. They just need the AI so that they can operationalize. There are those people who borrow this money, they remain with it because they're not being funded, so that they can reach the many groups on the scratch, because they have the system there.
I think the crucial question has to be, you're a member of parliament right now. You've been in parliament for 2 years. This parliament at the moment, most Kenyans feel as if it has failed.
That's a fact.
It hasn't represented Kenyans to the best of its ability. It's, in essence, it's supposed to be the check of the executive, but it really isn't doing it. What are you guys doing at the moment to ensure that you can actually change that?
I think there's been capture of the parliament, and let's talk the fact, because there's any way you can tell me that the majority leader who is supposed to run the business government is being chosen from the state house, the president, who is supposed to be checked. It's okay. Minority leader who was there, then being taken again, now is the CS and all that. So you find like the parliament ought need to be restructured. And if there is any constitutional moment in this country, we need to look at restructuring the parliament and making it independent. Let no political parties have a role in the management of the house. Let this, because the problem in the house is about the appointments that are being made from the state, the state house or the
question
president.
Isn't the president the head of the United Democratic Party?
That is now, we need to tell the president, like, for example, once elected leaders, he ceases to be the party leader of that party. He ceases to be any leader of any political parties.
Doesn't that mean we'll have to audit some of our laws at the moment, because the laws as they are allow that?
That is why now we say that if we want to make the checks and balances, the way we have made the judiciary to be independent, that is how the parliament should be independent.
It goes back to a question I think I've asked before and have never gotten a satisfactory answer. Our system is political. We like it or not. Members of parliament are politicians to begin with. And yes, we say our government is a government of the people, by the people, for the people. But that doesn't really actually have any translation on the ground. Because right now, members of Mumias East voted you in. But you also have you also have Eugene Wamalwa, who is your party leader, who also has some power over you. So is it Eugene Wamalwa whom you're going to listen to more, or is it your members of Mumias?
Now that is the point I'm telling you, that once, let this one be, you find in most governments that are successful, we have the presidential, who is ceremonial, and then we have the prime minister, who is elected by the members, also whichever way. So because with the way Kenyan politics is surrounded by tribal, political, whatever, game plans, the kingpins and everything. So if at any given point, like with the politician, we want to safeguard this country for the years to come, 200 years, 300 years, 1,000 years to come, we must restructure the way this government is being run. Look at Morocco, they have the king, they have the person to run the government. And this person should be appointed or be elected by the members of parliament, the person to run the government, so that if there is a problem, they will go direct to the person and ask him, boss, we are the one who elected you, right? We want you to fix this thing or we put you out.
All right, now this is something you said, I believe, in December, in front of the president, actually. You say that the president is God-sent. That's something that didn't go very well with most people. And you say that the problem is not the president himself, but the people around him. What do you actually mean that he is God-sent?
Number one, I say this because when Ruto came into power, or during the kind of the happiness, the young people, you see the people who voted for Ruto, most of them, the young generation. That is a fact. Are you denying that fact?
No, I'm not denying that fact.
That is a fact.
Yeah.
There are those young people, because if you know, Twitter played a very key role, the Facebook and everywhere.
Yeah.
There are people, as ndio watu tu kumpigia, but majority of the young people voted because of the hustler narrative and all that. Mama Mboga, Mutu wa chini and all that. Against Cerelac, there was that, the narrative was built. And it was a success narrative of those who has and who doesn't have. Right? So, people believed that this is going to be a game changer president. And number one, when I say that is a God-Sent, look at the cartel, like for example in Mumias. When he came with Maneno Matatu, you see this country has been having a problem with cartels. People who sit at one point and determine what to be done. But of his toughness, right?
Yeah.
If he could use his toughness to fight those people and protect the mwananchi, like the way he came, like the sugar industry, for example, in Mumias was being, and then he said that Mama Matatu, but again he has brought it back the same person. Right? You saw people rioting in Mumias?
Yes, over the weekend.
When he brought him back, he went, now we believe he went with the money. It's okay? So if he could use that toughness, facing the situation the way it is, and say that there is a problem here, we must fix this problem.
Yeah.
But with no interest. But it seems every time he comes with to fight these people, he's coming with new cartels in mind. Right? Look at Ketraco, that were doing their work very well. I know the terms of Ketraco was to be there for a certain period of time.
Yeah.
And it was prudent to look where are the loopholes, because we know Ketraco has been having challenges in terms of implementing even the wind pool. There was corruption and all that. You could have come and asked, where did we go wrong on this? Get a report. How did the government lose the money on Ketraco, the billions of money? The issues to do with the dam. How did we get to lose these monies? The 23 billion that went without knowing where did it go? Fighting the big cartels in these ministries was number one thing. So if he could have come, I said it was to be a God-Sent, because if he could come and say, look at that mwananchi wa kawaida, about this dam, 23 billion went into, by like starting to look at the report, we are talking about the monies that were lost during that time of the Eurobond. The monies, I don't know how much, 400 billion or whatever, that was to come to Kenya, but it never reached to this country. We start by going for that money. Right? How did this money get lost? Who were the culprits for this money?
You said you would like to be his advisor. Has he gotten back to you on that?
He can't. So, so he could have gone to that.
Yeah.
Unaona? Yeah. With his toughness. We retrieve that money back. Venye tu alikuja akasema pesa zenye mlificha huko nje. We get to know. But now instead, the people who, the money that they are being lost when they were there, that the same that he brought on board. So which means that he fall also in the trap. It's just like in the Bible. We have so many leaders in the Bible who are God-Sent. But along the way, the devil came and confused them. Kina Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah.
We have people like King Saul and others. They got out of the trajectory that God, because all the leaders are sent by God, but also the devil comes also in a way anachukua and take control if you accept. Even Jesus was a God-Sent, right? When the devil came, akamuuliza chukua hii, na akamuonyesha all earthly things. He said, you devil, Man does not live by only the
bread alone.
The bread alone. So that means that he was God-sent. But the earthly riches comes, we want to buy those Boeings. You must be the richest kid. You must, for you to control this country, you must be the next Moi. You must be the Kenyatta. You must also amass the wealth. So the moment now, the cartels now, when they look at your heart and finds that you love the money, they know your weakness is about money, then they use it. Kenyans are just praying, well, is 2027 coming so that we can make a decision?
Let's go to 2027 then. Now, because you've taken us there. There's already some of the political alignments that we have already seen. We have seen your party leader, Eugene Wamalwa, form an alliance with Kalonzo and Gachagua. Do you think they will manage to challenge?
Me, I've said myself.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just support anybody just because of supporting. I'm also eligible. Hey, I'm also eligible to vie as a president of this Republic of Kenya.
Okay.
And if someone is not going to address the issues to do industrialization in this country, we cannot be a country whereby the only thing to do is to export people, labor, and all that. Look at Singapore, how they came to be in power. I saw the Singapore president came in this country. I thought that when the Singapore president, he could have borrowed. Look at when America wanted to, there is a laptop called HP or whatever. There is a history we are learning about it. That instead of taking those people to go and work, they identified the cheap labor in Singapore. Then America went and introduced that company in Singapore because they were able to produce the cheap labor and produce more and start. So that one was a plus two. So the thing that we want as a country is to look at how can we be able to create job opportunities in this country. The moment we realize that moment, we can even bring the Ugandans will come and work here. The Germans will come and work here. Because this is the best place. Let us work on taxation. Let us make this country to be a free, where people can come and introduce their companies and work here and export things. I was giving, so coming that to answering your point, that 2027, as the chairman of Gen Z, many chairman of Gen Z, I've said that I will not just support any person.
Yeah.
Just because he's in my party. We are going to talk about somebody is going to see about industrialization in this country. Moi was a dictator, yes, we agree. But during his time, industries were everywhere. And you could see the suits in Kenya were being sold in London. The tea, wherever, everything. Tobacco was there, EBL, all the companies. Watu wa mashinani in the villages were working. Kwa maua, wapi, butter, employing 3,000 people. The population has increased, but job opportunities are reducing. I know we are having challenges to do with IT thing. So we must be able to align ourselves. And the only savior for all these things is to bring down the taxes. And look at this. They wanted to bring down. They wanted to bring down, to increase the taxes so as to avoid people to export. We could have done what we could have done. For example, we lower the taxes. We make our own. We feed ourselves. If it is, look at the countries like India. What India did, like in terms of healthcare, you see, like everybody wants to go to the India for health, is because there was competition in healthcare system in India. So everybody was trying to be the best in India. Government, maybe they did one or two things. And then there was practice. People now are like best institutions because if we are consuming so much, we people from other countries will get. If you want the best heart surgery, go to India. We will not even advertise ourselves. It is there. Brain surgery and everything. So everybody will be flocking. So we can even make the healthcare system to be our foreign exchange. It's okay? That is one way. Look even at the music. I was in South Africa. I'm just trying to say that if we can increase our internal consumption, domestic use, it will attract the external. When I was in South Africa, they consumed the amapiano everywhere you go, it is a mapiano. Nowadays, you see, you come to Kenya, they also just have a concert of a mapiano. We are now consuming a mapiano.
Yeah.
As just an example, like if we want, like for example, the affordable housing, the best place whereby you can do the real estate is in Kenya. Cement is cheap, whatever is cheap. So people will be coming to invest here, the big hotels and whatever, we come here in Kenya. No. It will create those job opportunities without struggle. We are talking about these things. We are increasing those things. How are we encouraging affordable housing and all that? So coming to that point, Peter Salasya, if there will be any president will be practical in addressing and will want to see things that are practical. Right now, I want to ask all the Gen Zs who are out there that they should be, we are not going just to accept any policy. It should be attainable, sustainable, easy and understanding. From point A to point B. How is it going to be practical on this? Then now from that point is when I will decide if there will be I will also vie for the president. If there will be no anyone that is going to address that they are still talking about these things. What? I want job opportunities, employment. How is that person going to make this parliament to be independent? Right?
Yeah.
Nimeweka a question. Siendi tu kusupport mtu ati just because is ni wa DAP ama sijui ni wa nini. Hapana, we are not yet there. Tunasema boli bado. Pia mimi nitakuwa nimeshafikisha miaka kusimama president.
Sasa hapo kwa president kidogo tu. Mwanzo ulikuwa umesema you would like to be the Kakamega governor. So has that changed?
You see now this country needs Traore.
Are you the Traore we need?
I can be a very good Traore, I'm telling you. I can change this country.
Yeah.
For what? Not for my own benefit.
Yeah.
Even as a president, I can say, for example, I don't want to have powers. What is killing this country is having more powers. Dumeona hata judiciary, Chief Justice today, anakuwa frustrated because they also want him to sing on the look at Speaker of the National Assembly. Is now also in the president rallies talking about ndiye anatetea rais. How did we stop to be too low like that? Speaker of the National Assembly also being on the rallies of the president. In the politics when you should be the referee. Okay. You say that is your right. But you, where you sit, Speaker and the CJ, they stand in the same place. So they also expect the CJ also to be on the rooftops talking politics. Huh? Those are the things where we go wrong. So when I become the president, I'll also say that I want to shelve the powers. Give the powers to the independent. Let them correct me. Let them listen, come and reason. There is even a scripture says like that. When I speak, like last time when I spoke that, they say that I'm a very junior person in politics of 3 years. What if was the Holy Spirit was speaking through me the way Joseph was just a junior boy? But he saved the Israelites from hunger. Right?
Yeah.
He saved the Israelites from hunger. So it means that even God can also use me as he looks me that being a person of 2 years and 3 years in politics, being a junior. He might use me because you never know the wonders of God. So you asked me about the governor. Governor thing now is very junior for me. I'm now a national leader. I even don't have interest about those people who are looking for governor. I'm looking at right now, Kenyan voice, who is speaking on the behalf of Kenyans.
Are you that voice?
Yes, I'm the voice
of opposition.
I'm now the voice of the opposition. I've told recently that I'm going to polish my English. So that now when I speak, and I'm going to do a lot of research.
Yeah.
Every bill, I'm going to be very serious this time around. I'm going to be in the parliament. I'm going to be reading all the things that are coming and ask my PA, my research. I'm going to add more researchers in my house, in my office, so that they be reading and interpret to me what is this talking about. Because the Kenyans want people who can speak. Because look, ODM is no longer in the is now singing the song of Kenya Kwanza. So who is left? I'm the one. So I'm the voice of the people, the voice of the opposition right now.
I want you to take us back to a day that was a bit sad for most of us to watch and witness. June 25th, Kenyans breached parliament. Were you afraid?
Me, I cried. That day,
Yeah.
I was almost beating some Kenya Kwanza MPs.
Why?
You know, let me tell you what happened that day. You know, we were in the house.
Yeah.
That day.
It was the day finance bill was being...
Finance bill.
Yeah.
And you see, Kenya Kwanza had known the position that Kenyans reject everything. So they didn't listen.
They didn't listen.
Yeah, I was there, nikaambia wananchi kitu hii shaenda. So we were in there. Kidogo kidogo tunasikia kimeanza kuumana huko nje. Si ndio?
Yeah.
Wakapitisha mbio. Na wale wanakuwa nakuja pole. Kidogo tunasikia pale hapo Cardinal Otunga. Si ndio?
Yeah.
Wanakuja sasa, they are almost overwhelming police. So ikakuwa members watoke. Sasa kidogo tu walikuwa karibu wanafika. Tulikuwa tunafika pale
mkono tumia tunnel ya kuingia kwa bunge.
Yes, mimi nilikuwa nimesimama hapo nje. Sasa tear gas zimeanza kufika mpaka pale kwa parliament. Inanuka mpaka pale kwa parliament, kila mtu anatoa machozi. Yaani hata wale wenye wametoa finance bill wamepigia finance, they are also crying. Yeah. So yeah, everywhere. Pa. It was like, yani ni tuko kwa movie. Tunaenda pale KICC. Hata tu kwenda pale KICC. It was like everybody, you don't know what is going to happen. And hiki kuja itakupata waliomo na sio. In the meantime, mimi nikiwa tu pale, walikuwa karibu wanafika. Kutoka naona wamebeba mwili hivi.
Yeah.
Wamebeba mwili wa kijana. Wameweka na bendera.
Wanamweka were shot there.
Yeah?
At least 3 people were shot.
Yes, wakamweka pale kwa gate. Kakuja hapo. I started crying because it was like the first time in history that Kenyans were being killed at the parliament building when members were there. So na wale sasa tukasema, then from there what happened, tukatoka hivi tukaenda kwa the other side. Mimi nikaenda kwa the other side ya huko
Bunge Towers.
Bunge Towers huko Continental. So wacha kimeumana sasa. So wabunge kidogo, vijana wamefika pale. Sasa pale naona sasa ambulance, umayona ile yenye tulikuwa tunaona kwa movie, zile Red Cross. Red Cross ile na bendera. Hapo sasa, that was the emotional time for me. I started shedding my tears. Like zimepangana, do you know, like zile yani 1 2 3 4 kama like 10 of them zinaendea huku, zinaendea kule, ye. Na pale nikaona wabunge wengine wa Kenya Kwanza karibu ni waingiemo. Mnafanya nini hapa na nyinyi ndio umepitisha? Toka hapa. Hey, masa mimi ningemazana na wale pale kwa hapo juu, because now we are watching. You are watching and you are the one who passed this thing. You didn't tell your members to put aside this thing. Walikimbia pale. Kidogo naona wale wa Red Cross, wabunge wengine walikuwa sasa imeenda wamebeba. Sasa si unajua pale kama unaingia nje ni ya kuingia community inaitwanga aje? Ni
kuingia community
kama unaenda Serena.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Kenyatta Avenue.
Yeah. pale nakwambia wabunge waliponea sana, because mi nilikuwa na watch na mtu akasignal that wabunge wako kwa hiyo ambulance na wakaisimamisha, wakaanza kuistone. Kama ingetake like 10 minutes, kama jeshi wajatoka pale, because walikuja pale ukiwa hapo Towers, ukiwa pale Towers juu ama hapo Continental juu, sikuna hapo hiyo highway ya juu. So ale jeshi walitoka huko na wakasimamisha Land Rover. Yani waliponea like hivi venye walianza tu kwa stone hivyo
Yeah.
Na sasa jeshi nao wakafika, wakaanza kufatua sasa pa. Yani ndio vijana wakatoka, hao watu wakakuwa rescued, wakatoroka hivi, wakakuja kuchukuliwa. Unaona story? So I'm telling you that day, because huko kumeshika, kule kumeshika, huko kwengine nao pia the other side ya Mombasa Road imeshika. No escape route. Wabuko wako hapo wanapiga nduru. So I can tell you is that the Kenyan that we saw, and what I saw is that you can think of being a dictator in this country, but with the movement, with the power of the social media. And you see now trying to like, it's just like that story of Venezuela. When they tried to switch off the internet, the following they mobilized. So it reaches a point like they can come and use maybe other means ya communication. Sindio? Other means ya communication. Now afike pale. So this country, one thing I learned from that day is that lead the people the way they want to be led. I know as a leader, move together with the people.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like you can be running, but you are running too faster than them, or you are running behind them. They're ahead of you. Don't allow the citizens you lead to be ahead of you.
Yeah.
Or let them not be. You are how many kilometers they are behind them. Run together with them. And that's what I'm trying to do in my constituency. The leadership I'm bringing in is for the Gen Z the Gen Z leadership. But I do a lot of work to, like, for example, I always do the crossover party for them. But before, they used to think like in Aribu watoto wao. There's a moment where I bring all of them together. We have fun together. And we celebrate the year. Tunapiga zile inaitwa baruti, whatever, together. And we celebrate. Now they are getting it. We are now moving. I'm telling them that we don't want border. After the Form 4s, nimesimama staki mambo ya border in my constituency. Okay, umemaliza Form 4, proceed with the education. Now I have to get together with them and give them the steps. They have to move on. Ile giving handouts in my constituency. I've not said this is not the way we want to run our constituency. I'll have go and steal the money to embrace you by 100 shillings. Then I don't educate your children. I don't build good schools for your children, modern toilets for your children, and among other things. So you have to be take them slowly, step by them. Let them, like, look at this issue about tujilipe ushuru tujitegemee. Kenyans had really accepted that narrative when the president came in the first place. It's okay? But when they came in and then they saw that what we are doing was not in line with what we are talking about, they got demoralized. So naona, so lazima tutembe. That's the lesson that I'm just getting from you, that from that June 5th, that Kenyans are ahead. You cannot lie them. It's okay? Yeah. So, and look at what what really made Trump to win the election. He addressed the issues that Americans wanted. Yes, it's controversial. And today, Trump is doing them. Others is fine, like the Mexicans. They are demonstrating, but the US people, let them go. We don't want them because they know insecurity and whatever. Staying on the policies, on what you promised to the people. People want that. He promised like making Kenyan, the American taxes to serve the Americans. That is what the Americans wanted. So what land that when you promise Kenyans, this is what they also have in record. This is what we want.
I'm going to ask you a question. Back on that same day, why isn't there a serious drive from members of parliament to see accountability for the people who were killed outside the house?
You see, it's very much unfortunate. Like, if members were really true, because you remember who was the interior minister
At the time, Kindiki, the current deputy
they
president.
would have said, no, we can't pass this person. We must get a report. What happened? We want a report. The massacre that in Quarry, where these bodies went. Who are the owners of those bodies? It's okay. Give a report to the Kenyans. Like we are, the guy was arrested. He flew from the cell.
Yeah.
Where the report on that? The Shakahola, we were realist. We had talked about 100+ people were buried in there. Who are the owners? Where are the names? And all that. Who are those bodies? Yes, we know it's Mackenzie. But our government must be serious with each life of each citizen of this country. Because life is sacred, life is precious, and all that. And so, we have a problem. And as members, it was a very good platform to tell Kenyans, yes, the lesson we have learned. We are the people's representative. And the people's representative, and that's why you could find like coming and say that we are signing signatures to remove some members because they have failed to represent our voice, our interest. There is disconnection between the people because they donated the powers to us. So they wanted, if the IBC could be there, they could have taken it back to themselves. So the June 5th could have been a very wake-up point for the House to think differently. We shall not just follow instructions from the State House, but we shall sit as we shall do things as an independent body, institution of arm of government.
Yeah. Finally, what kind of Peter Salasya should we expect this year?
Number one, the people's spokesperson. I'll speak on issues, and I want, when I speak to the Kenyans, they should understand. I've learned one problem with the Kenyans, that Kenyans, they fall into trap of sweet words easily without looking at the consequences. Recently, they were clapping for the austerity measures. Today, they are crying about the increase of government services like the IDs, certificates of what, ABCD. Today, there is that idea of coming to close. Close what? Close the merging.
Yeah,
merging of
some companies and
parastatals and the merging and everything.
Yeah.
They are celebrating because they are going to cut down the costs. They are forgetting about what were the reasons why they were meant for. What achievements can they call for those institutions to explain themselves without fear? Tell us what you have achieved. Like, for example, we have brought this project here. We have brought this one here. We have brought this one here. This is what we intend to do. every government is made for the people. It's not all about the duplication. Yes, it's about duplication. But if there's duplication and then people are getting services, what's the problem? Because everything should benefit the people. If you are saying that the dam, like I was listening that Ewasonyiro is bringing a dam somewhere or drilling water somewhere, then there is water services somewhere bringing water. Then there is another body bringing water. What is the problem with that? It's all about the people. It's not about the duplication. What we want is the practical part of it. So I want Kenyans to be very smart, not to fall into a trap. Like I try to address that issue. We should not allow what Owalo said on Friday, that they want to allow some parastatal to die a natural death. It will not happen. And Kenyans are celebrating it. Those people who made those things were not idiots. So this year, we are going to be very much more focused. We are going to do a lot of research, and we are going to speak. And we are also going to participate in the parliament. And I will want to see many young people. I'll speak to most of the members in the House. This time round, honorable members, let us listen to the voice of the people. The Bible tells us the voice of the people is the voice of God. We make laws not for just an individual, but for the people. If people want it, then that is it. Even the Israelites, when they asked God that they want to be led, they want kings, God said, yes, go ahead and select yourself. He gave them the directions through Samuel, and he poured the water and all that, the oil, and they were having kings and whatever. So that was the voice of God speaking. So if the voice of the people is telling you, don't do this, as we start the next term, this mid-term, the last one, the second, let us listen carefully and not ignore. And remember that you say that you are going to use money to convince them. Remember, we are only the vessels of God that He chose us to use. But if we allow ourselves to be swayed and be confused by the devil, by the earthly whatever, then we will get it wrong. Yeah.
All right. That's where we end for today. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Just to be clear, we mentioned Sylvanus Osoro as a member of parliament here. He has been involved in various government projects, and as Peter Salasya said here, he is among the most vocal members of Kenya Kwanza in parliament. Lastly, continue watching Kenyans and visit our website Kenyans.co.ke for more details on some of the issues we have raised here and other stories that are making headlines here in the country and beyond. I'm Mono Njuguna. Thank you so much for your time.